What's up, guys? It's Squid Prince here. Got another OU match for you with that 6th gen. And today's match is up against a kid named Drism. Now, I was talking to Drism in the chat, and he was like, "Yo, man, what's Squid Prince?" So I proceeded to tell him that it's a channel that I made up for making Pokemon battles. And he asked me if I would post this video. So this battle came out, pretty cool. It was a good match. So I told him I'd post it up. Now, I also checked him out, and he actually has a YouTube channel as well. I will leave his link in the description below me. And then he does like acoustic guitar, and dude sounds good. He's got his whole music thing sounding right. So definitely go check him out. Dude's cool as shit. But let's pretty much get into this battle. It was definitely a good battle, a bit of a mind game at the end. So he starts out with Scissor. I'm going to start off with my Rotom as usual. Not playing any games with with Scissor at all, 'cause still a threat. So I burn him. He ends up U-turning into his Mega Kangaskhan. As you can see by the name, he let me know early. So I end up switching into my Trevenant, dodge the fake out because I am Ghost, and he does switch in his Espeon, and I hit it with a wood hammer when it comes in. So he ends up bringing the Scissor back in. I'm just laying my wood down, just putting my wood on everything with my Trevenant. So I end up switching out. He goes into U-turn and ends up bringing in his Rotom Wash as I bring in my Aggron, make him Mega. So I was like, if you have a Mega, I would like a Mega. So let's just hang out. Now I end up going for an Iron Head. It's resisted, doesn't do anything, and he ends up going for sub, and I end up just throwing my rocks up. I was like, if I'm going to be burned, might as well get my rocks up, because I had a feeling he wasn't going to switch in the Espeon, but he ends up going for a Hydro Pump as I switch in my Trevenant, and I take it beautifully. I am specially defensive, but he ends up burning me with the Willow, which I don't really mind because I am a natural cure Trevenant. So I do break the sub. He switches out and ends up bringing his Scissor back in. So I just go for the Wood Hammer. Now, thinking that he's going to just, U-turn back out, I switch out into my Mega Aggron to take the U-turn. He actually goes for Defog and gets rid of my rocks right away. So I was like, oh, and now I got to set up my rocks again. So I ain't too concerned about it. I guess he predicted me to throw my rocks out. So he brings out his Bouncer, the big, tough, mean Espeon. I switch out and go into my Trevenant, and he ends up double switching into his Clefable. And when I saw the Clefable come in, I was like, oh, I'm in a predicament, because I thought it was normal, forgot it was fairy. He still takes some damage, so that's alright with me. So I end up going for a Wood Hammer. He ends up wishing and then bringing in the Scissor, and now he's all the way back up. I think it was 73%. So he ends up going for a U-turn, brings the Clefable back out, drop my wood on its head, knock it out. Trevenant, he's hanging pretty low, like a big bad horse. So now I get a little tricky with Mega Kangaskhan coming in. Go for Elite Seed on the Sucker Punch. Sucker Punches again, I go for the Substitute. So now if I do attack, I can take the Sucker Punch. So he ends up switching out. He brings in his Espeon again, brings in the Pussy, I lay the wood on him, and knock it out clean. It was too good, she just fell right asleep. Now he brings in the Mega Kanga and then double switches out to his Scissor. So now, I don't know, I guess he was expecting the Elite Seed to waste a turn, but he ends up double switching and U-turns, and I figured that the U-turn would take out my sub, because it is stab, it is Scissor. But I don't know, I guess depending on max min doesn't happen, so I end up subbing. He brings in his Dragonite, and I go for Elite Seed. So that, I could force a switch out, or at least I was hoping at that point. Now, what happens is it does get stally. Now, he's going to keep Dragon Dancing up until he's pretty much at, like, just full, like, maxed out stats, and then he can roost up. Now, what I'm thinking at this point is, I really hope that he doesn't carry E-Speed, because if he carries E-Speed, that's pretty much a sweep for most of my team. I could go into Mega Aggron, but it could only resist so much. And so I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to set up camp. I'm going to get my nice little chair, maybe my hat, fishing rod, and I'm just gonna go fishing for crits. I'm going for fishing for special defense drops because I need something to take this thing out or force him out. I do have a counter, which is my Weavile with Ice Shard, but if he does carry the E-Speed, then that whole plan goes right out the window. So I'm sitting here on this nice sunny day, out fishing. I end up getting my special defense drop at some point previous to me talking, but it's a good big one. I could tell you the story of how I caught it. Like it was raining and the clouds cleared up, and I caught this big special defense drop. However, he ends up going for a Dragon Claw and takes out my sub clean, like easy. So I let Trevor Knott go down. He did his job, and now I bring in Aggron to scout what his other move is because I know that I know that I resist the dragon. I find out that it's Earthquake. That works out perfect for me because now I could force him out with my Weavile. He ends up bringing in his Rotom to resist the attack. So now I need to get out because I'm fearing a burn. So I end up bringing in Goodra to take the burn, which is alright. And here I make such a silly play. I Oh no, this wasn't. Oh well, that's still not a great play. But the Toxic was silly because the Rotom does outspeed me, and he could have literally just gone for sub and just completely blocked it, and then had shenanigans, Rotom shenanigans, my favorite kind of shenanigans. But I do set up a sub on the Scissor knowing that he can't break it, and I end up going for a Dragon Pulse and take it out. Now he brings the Rotom in, knowing that I'm getting a Toxic, and he ends up going for sub, which I really should have just Dragon Pulsed. So now I'm in a sticky situation. Speaking of Goodra, but Goodra being the special defensive monstrosity that it is, like his body is just completely coated in gooey goodness. I live the Stab Thunderbolt on like like just smidgens, very small smidgens, and I end up breaking the sub, which is great because now I can bring in my Rotom and start just throwing Thunderbolts down from the washer pretty much. So now we're hanging out in the laundromat, and he burns me. I Thunderbolt him. He ends up switching in his Dragonite. I hit it with a Thunderbolt. Now I don't want it setting up on me again, so I'm gonna go for a Will-O-Wisp and burn him. So this way his Dragon Dances are pretty much useless to him now. But now this part gets a little stally as well, where he's just gonna keep roosting off any damage that I put on him with any Thunderbolts and setting up in between as well. And also when he roosts, he loses flying typing, which makes my stab attacks resisted now. So I'm not like too bad of a predicament, but I figure no need to switch out because if he ends up predicting a switch when I switch my Weavile in and take me out, that's pretty much good game right there. Because Weavile is very essential if I'm going to win this match. So I keep just dropping Thunderbolts. He's just going to keep roosting up. And I'm hoping, maybe I can get a crit, anything. But this match was really good with like hacks and stuff. There weren't like any, things coming up. So he ends up just going for the Dragon Claw and taking me out. So I end up bringing in the Weavile. And now I didn't want to predict any switches to Rotom or anything, just because how essential Weavile was. But I do carry Substitute on my Weavile. And now I dodge the Will-O-Wisp, and now I can go for a Stab Night Slash. And I do end up getting a crit. However, Rotom does live on 1, but he ends up going for the Substitute. I'm not sure why he went for the Substitute, but, that was just, I don't know, it was just bad luck, I guess. So now he ends up bringing in the Mega Kangaskhan. I thought, like, I didn't know that if the baby hits you on the fake out, you flinch as well. So I figured I could dodge the fake out and still move after he takes out my sub. But I do flinch. I do just get one attack off, and he ends up getting a Power Punch off. Now he switches into his Dragonite to dodge the Earthquake, or it could have just been to fodder off. I don't know why he switched off with, at +1. But now he ends up bringing in the Mega back in, goes for the fake out. But here's the thing, my rough skin ability actually hurts him more than he would pretty much hurt me. Now he ends up going for the Sucker Punch and gets the crit on his last attempt. And since he hits me twice, the rough skin will end up taking him out. But Awesome game.